Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? A gracious good morning to you good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Thursday morning. It's 2:47 in the AM and it's July 16th. I want to share a little bit with folks. There's nothing that irritates me more than car problems. And I know most folks periodically experience car problems. Now, that being said, I'm going to tell you something that my father just drilled into me and instilled into me, and that is about basic car maintenance. Now, back in the day when cars were less complicated, my mother had a 69 Mustang. That Mustang was in various states of deterioration because we had the car back east. Rock salt and everything takes its toll on metal over a period of time. So that being said, the floorboards started to rot because of the chemical exposure from the rock salt and the snow. But we loved that car. And I say we because my mother didn't start driving until, I want to say, her late 20s, early 30s. New York, you don't really need a car. The level of public transportation was more than adequate. But, everybody, pretty much, that was a rite of passage. Like I said, we love that car. My father was a bit immature for his age, and did street racing. Now, my favorite car that he owned for said street racing was a Pontiac GTO. Now, he's had some other car machinations based on what was going on at the time. A Monte Carlo, what I think they call it the Landau roof, where it's half vinyl, and then this hard top. Yeah. He had that. He had a Deuce and Quarter. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a Buick Electric 225. But again, my favorite car was the Pontiac GTO because it was a muscle car. But getting back to the 69 Mustang, my father drilled in me, if you drive it, you should be able to do basic maintenance on it. I learned how to change spark plugs. I changed the oil. It was back in the day when you changed spark plugs, you had to do what was called gap setting to keep the timing, the firing of the sparks to keep the in. I learned all that. And then some. Now, today's cars are more of a computer. Now, I've built my share of computers, but I don't want to spend time, figuring out this goes to that. If I do this, then this will trigger that, because everything plays off everything else in the newer cars because they're more electronic and have motherboard circuitry. I know some of you are looking at me like I have two heads or I'm speaking a foreign language that nobody understands, but for you gearheads, you know. Now, I love to tinker. But like I said, nothing irritates me more than when somebody, and I'm sorry for you guys, and I mean men, who told you, as a man, you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. Because I see a lot of brothers lift up that hood and just stare. And which I would do too now these days with these newer cars, but because you're programmed to think you're supposed to be able to fix things, or your girl is telling you you should be able to fix things, you just lift up the hood and stare. Now, the only thing that I can tell you, if you know anything about cars, is you have to do your own level of diagnostics and start ruling stuff out. Now, it's like I get in the car, I turn the key, it doesn't start. I hear noise like it wants to ignite. See, that kind of thing. And then you start ruling things out, or what's connected to the ignition. Is it the starter? Is it the battery? See, that kind of thing. And figure it out from there. Or I tried to start it and I smell gas. It's too much gas. You flooded it. Is it the fuel filter? Is it the fuel line? Things of this nature. Okay, I'm going to tell you something very basic, and this is for men and women. And I learned this, again, through experience. If you drive it, you need to know how to do basic repairs. First thing I learned how to do was, and this is in my latest car, the screen wasn't working. Now, most cars now have the screen that tells you what's going on. The screen was glitching. It would periodically work and then it would go out. I wasn't going to go to the dealership for a screen. You're not going to charge me an arm and a leg for a screen. Watched a couple of YouTube videos. They spoke of the screen and going to the dealership. Just the time and the money involved in the screen. Based on that YouTube video, I ordered the screen and the parts from Amazon. I replaced the screen based on the YouTube video. And that involves removing components from the dashboard. Now, removing components from the dashboard is a delicate process because you don't want to tear the vinyl. Special tools were ordered for that. But again, I changed the screen. Now, the next thing I learned, I hate electronic engines. I don't understand the need for an electronic engine, but cars have them nonetheless. This bad boy, the key fob. If you start getting funky responses from your key fob, like the locks are slow to respond, or you get in your car and this is fob not present, but you got the fob in your hand, or you're looking at the fob, this is what you must do. Usually when you get these funky error messages or responses, that means the battery is bad or going bad. You got to open this bad boy up. In order to open this bad boy up, you have to remove this piece. Okay, that's the first piece you remove. This piece, though this looks like metal decoration, what this actually is the manual key. Cars have the electronic engine, but they also have the physical key. I know a lot of you didn't know that. Then you open it up, you change the battery. The most common battery size is the 2032. It's the disc battery. Some models have the 2025, but the most common is the 2032. Now you can order them in bulk, or your auto parts place usually has them by the register. Okay, so you learn something new, and you know I drive a Jeep.